The modern definition of bushwhacker is someone who likes to walk in the woods off trail. But back during the Civil War, it was considered to be someone who was a land-based pirate. I prefer to think of myself as someone that is halfway between the two definitions. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do. In Leakin Park, there's a nature center, and a friend of mine said there might be a cemetery behind it. So I looked at the aerial imagery and thought, well, if it was anywhere, it would be up on the hill, because that's where people tend to put cemeteries. So I added some place marks and then transferred those place marks over to my topo software on my computer. And then once I got done adding some additional data, I transferred everything over to my GPS, and those are a couple of screenshots you can see. One is the contour map on the left, and I could also see the aerial imagery to my right. And then I formulated a plan on how I was going to go in and find it. That's a picture of me the day I decided to go look for that cemetery. You can see the GPS hanging off my neck. I like to do it that way so that I can keep my hands free. So then I went crawling around the woods, and I was successful. The cemetery was right where I thought it would be. You can see some old tombstones. I have no clue what those people are doing back in there, but they are there, and you can find them if you want to. Now, the Port of Baltimore had an old ferry in it. I wanted to go take a closer look. It was out in Brooklyn. Unfortunately, it was behind some private property, but I did see a hole in the fence, and I figured I could use it. So again, I looked at the aerial imagery and figured if I hugged the shoreline, I might be able to get back in there. So I had to go and walk around this huge Mercedes-Benz parking lot and avoid their security guard, but I was successful. I got to the ferry, and I took some pictures. I was glad I did, because 3 weeks after I took those pictures, the port broke that ferry and it no longer exists. Now, at Harpers Ferry, there's a ridge up there. It's the only ridge that's untrailed. It's called Short Hill Mountain. On Google Earth, I saw a rocky outcropping, and figured it would be neat to maybe get up there and see if there was a view. So one beautiful September day, me and 5 of my friends decided to bushwhack up that ridge with a GPS and see if we could find those rocks. We were successful. We found the rocks, and we were treated to the most wonderful, beautiful view of looking back toward Harpers Ferry and the ridges in Maryland and Virginia, and as well as the Potomac River. Now, out near Hagerstown, there's a secure, secret, heavily guarded government facility called the AT&T Project Office. It's at a place called Indian Springs. And I went back in there anyway. I didn't care. And me and a friend of mine were in a ravine back there kicking around, and we looked up and we saw this really neat tower up on the mountain. And so we decided to change our course with a GPS, and we found an old stream bed that went up that ridge. So we used that to get up there, and we got a closer look at that tower. I was able to take this picture. That's my friend standing in front of it. That's an old abandoned microwave tower left over from the Cold War. Now, one day I was driving down Baltimore Washington Parkway, and this bird came out of nowhere and attacked my minivan. So I saw that it was a bald eagle, and I followed it visually, and it went over to some ponds, to its nest. So I became intrigued and decided, hey, I want to get back in there and get a closer look. So again, I looked at Google Earth and said, hey, I think I can do it. It took me 3 tries. It was not easy, but I did get back in there and get some pictures of that bird. However, let me tell you something. I'm not going to tell you how I did it, because that bird is not very nice, and we probably just want to leave it alone. Now, if you want to take up bushwhacking, let me give you some tips. First, have a plan before you leave home. Second, use Google Earth and any aerial imagery you can find as much as possible. It's great information. And thirdly, be invisible, wear camo, and try not to get noticed. Now, if you don't want to be a bushwhacker, let me leave you with just this one thought, and that is forge your own path in life, because absolutely nobody else is going to do it for you. Thank you very much.